Hello again. Welcome back to year 4 of the Religious Education Initiative. This is week 17, day 1. So last time we began the book of Daniel, and we saw Daniel and his 3 friends, Hananiah, Azariah, and Mishael, otherwise known as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, taken into captivity in Babylon, where they were trained to become members of the bureaucracy of Nebuchadnezzar's empire. We saw them hold themselves faithful to the Torah, not eating the meat that had been sacrificed to idols, and eating only vegetables, and being blessed and sustained by the Lord in that. We saw too how they became officials in Babylon and prospered and gained the respect of all. And then we saw the king have a dream which troubled him deeply, so that he demanded his wise men, these 4 young men included, should tell him not just the interpretation to the dream, but to tell him the dream itself first, as a way of proving that they did indeed have the inside track to the revelation that had been given to him by the gods. Daniel was not present when this demand was made, and when the wise men present utterly failed and received a penalty of condemnation to death. But Daniel and his friends heard about it when the penalty was about to be imposed, when they were all about to be killed. So he asked for time, and he told the king he would fulfill the king's demand. So what he did next, we will see this week. And since today is Christmas Day, if you're reading it on Monday, well, Merry Christmas. And this is very fitting, in fact. So, this is verse 17 of chapter 2. Then Daniel went to his home and informed his companions, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, and told them to seek mercy from the God of heaven concerning this mystery, so that Daniel and his companions, with the rest of the wise men of Babylon, might not perish. Then the mystery was revealed to Daniel in a vision of the night, and Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel said, "Blessed be the name of God from age to age, for wisdom and power are his. He changes times and seasons, deposes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. To you, O God of my ancestors, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and power, and have now revealed to me what we asked of you. For you have revealed to us what the king ordered." Therefore Daniel went to Arioch, whom the king had appointed to destroy the wise men of Babylon, and said to him, "Do not destroy the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king, and I will give the king the interpretation." Then Arioch quickly brought Daniel before the king, and said to him, "I have found among the exiles from Judah a man who can tell the king the interpretation." The king said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, "Are you able to tell me the dream that I have seen and its interpretation?" Daniel answered the king, "No wise men, enchanters, magicians, or diviners can show to the king the mystery that the king is asking. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries, and he has disclosed to King Nebuchadnezzar what will happen at the end of days. Your dream and the visions of your head as you lay in bed were these. To you, O king, as you lay in bed came thoughts of what would be hereafter, and the revealer of mysteries disclosed to you what is to be. But as for me, this mystery has not been revealed to me because of any wisdom that I have, more than any other living being, but in order that the interpretation may be known to the king, and that you may understand the thoughts of your mind. You were looking, O king, and lo, there was a great statue. This statue was huge, its brilliance extraordinary. It was standing before you, and its appearance was frightening. The head of that statue was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its middle and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, its feet partly of iron and partly of clay. As you looked on, a stone was cut out, not by human hands, and it struck the statue on its feet of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were all broken in pieces, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, so that not a trace of them could be found. But the stone that struck the statue became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This was the dream. Now we will tell the king its interpretation. You, O king, the King of kings, to whom the God of heaven has given the kingdom, the power, the might, and the glory, into whose hand he has given human beings wherever they live, the wild animals of the field and the birds of the air, and whom he has established as ruler over them all. You are the head of gold. After you shall arise another kingdom, inferior to yours, and yet a third kingdom of bronze, which shall rule over the whole earth. And there shall be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron. Just as iron crushes and smashes everything, it shall crush and shatter all these. As you saw the feet and toes partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, it shall be a divided kingdom, but some of the strength of iron shall be in it, as you saw the iron mixed with the clay. As the toes of the feet were part iron and part clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly brittle. As you saw the iron mixed with clay, so will they mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall this kingdom be left to another people. It shall crush all these kingdoms and bring them to an end, and it shall stand forever. Just as you saw that a stone was cut from the mountain, not by hands, and that it crushed the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great God has informed the king what shall be hereafter. The dream is certain, and its interpretation trustworthy. Okay, so the dream and the interpretation are one of the readings that we have in the Great Vesper service, the evening of Christmas Eve. And this is connected to the Church's clear understanding of this, which is that we can identify what these empires are. The golden head is Nebuchadnezzar's Neo-Babylonian empire. The silver chest and shoulders is the Persian empire that followed. The empire of bronze, that is the middle and thighs, is the kingdom of Alexander the Great and his successors. The legs of iron is the Roman Empire, into which Christ came, and the feet partly of iron and partly of clay are the kingdoms of the world since the Roman Empire. The Lord comes during the time of the Roman Empire, and yet what he does is he overthrows all these nations, all these empires, all these systems that dominate the human will and the human person, and he establishes instead his own direct lordship over all of humanity. This is the church, in which we are invited to liberty in Christ, no matter where we live, no matter what country of mingled clay and iron we live in. We are called to be faithful to the rock cut out not by human hands, that has shattered the nations and grows to fill and restore and renew the entire creation. This is what we are celebrating on Christmas. The birth of Christ our God does not establish some kingdom of men over all the others. It abolishes the dominion of human beings over one another. It abolishes the dominion of demons over humanity. And it establishes, it restores for us the relationship with our Creator and God, as we are called to lay aside the sins and the burdens and the slaveries in which we have been oppressed, and to become children of the light, children of God. So this is a beautiful reflection, I pray, for Christmas. This is why we're reading it. And that this vision is given to Nebuchadnezzar, the king, the pagan king. This is not necessarily a good news sort of thing. This is God saying, your kingdom is temporary, your dominion will pass. You are not the greatest thing that is. You will end. But it is good news for us if we hold fast to the Lord. So that's it for day one, for Christmas Day. God bless you all. Merry Christmas. We'll see you shortly for day two.